And we're back, guys. Tennis in a minute. I'm your host, Good Energy. I give you the rundown on tennis coverage every day. We're in the studio. This is Tennis After Dark. Drop a heart, show some love, hit the super things. We're going to talk about today's matches, and we're also going to cover tomorrow's draw. So grab a seat, get some popcorn. Let's go. Katie Volley Nets, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, the American in a tough match earlier today. She was taking on Yafan Wang from China. Now, Katie Volley Nets, guys, I say it all the time. She has ice veins because she's mentally tough. She gets balls back. She's always in shape. And I talked about probably, I want to say last month, right? I talked about how I think Katie is I think she's going to be now she didn't make my top 10 American list, right? And I said I think she'll probably make it next year. And I think this is going to be a breakout year for her. Why? Because Katie Volley watching her play, she's improving her shot making ability, she's improving her range. She's not necessarily making a lot of mistakes and she's also getting stronger, right? She's improving her power. Katie Volley Nets to me, she's athletic, she's mentally tough. She's got the whole package. She reminds me of a younger Sophia Kenin, right before she went on a tear. And watch out for Katie Volley Nets, guys. She comes through and she defeats Wong in what was a very entertaining match. Katie Volley Nets advances. What about Sarah Irani? What do you need? Some coffee, Venus Williams? Has anyone seen Venus Williams quietly not getting any wild card into the French Open? What's going on there, guys? I think this is her last year. Stay tuned. I think she's going to retire at Wimbledon, but then again, it could be the U.S. Open. Sarah Irani takes out American Amanda Anisimova, who's look, she's trying to come back. Congratulations to her. She's solid. I think she's one of the best, cleanest ball strikers on tour when she's in form. But she's got a long road to go. Jacqueline Christian taking on Elena Evanesian. That's right, guys. I told you I like Jacqueline to come out guns blazing and win the first set. She did exactly that, and she would actually win this match overall. I told you I like Madison Keys to take care of business with Camila Osorio, who's always mentally tough. But we're seeing a lot of the tougher players with the great stamina. They're hitting a roadblock, and that tells me that, yeah, this schedule might be a bit grueling. We're seeing even a lot of the guys on the ATP get injured. Look, aside from the master events, if you're an elite player, if you're a top ranked player, take a break. You shouldn't be playing these 500 and 250s if you're exhausted. You have the requirement to play the Masters, but anything else, you got to make sure your health is good. Madison Keys looking good, guys. She wants that Olympic spot. Emma Navarro, stay tuned. We're covering that match. She had a very entertaining match with Paula Badosa, who announced her breakup with Stefanos. What about Coco, the future of tennis? Now, listen, guys, we're going to stay tuned. We're going to talk about Coco because I have a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on with Coco, and she takes care of business today. That's a Jordan fist pump. She makes easy peasy work out of Magdalena. Listen, we saw here today that Coco, her backhand's top notch. The forehand's good. I think her forehand is best on clay than any other surface. Why? Because I've said time and time again, I think Coco, we'll talk about that later. Coco takes care of business, just destroying Magdalena Frack. What about Brenda Favertova? Brenda, who's who? This is the younger one, guys. She loses today, Sharana Kirstea. We had a pick 'em, guys. Yes. Now, Brenda did come back after dropping a set to Taylor Townsend, who was just big time as a junior. Now, Taylor's reached her all-time high on the world tour recently, 52nd. I think she's around 59 now. Brenda getting back inside the top 100. Now, Brenda, guys, she's going to be at the French Open, and I don't think she's going to have to qualify. That's going to be interesting because I do think one day Brenda will win the French Open, and I gave you guys a timetable. I said she's going to win it within the next 3 to 5 years. Just watch out. She's eliminated by Sorana Cirstea. That was a lock. Marta Kashuk from the hard-hitting Ukraine taking on Naomi Osaka Kanishiwa. Now, Osaka said recently that if Yelena Ostapenko can win a clay slam, So can she. Now, not in those words, right? She wasn't bashing Yelena, and Osaka's the sweetest player on tour. Her interviews are amazing. I've never heard her say anything bad about any player. But she said, look, just like Yelena Ostapenko, she could possibly win a clay title if she sticks to her guns. What does she mean by that? She's got rockets. She's got flamethrowers. She's very strong, very powerful, a clean ball striker, a clean server. As long as she's in shape, there's no one in this top 10 that can beat Osaka, guys. If she's on her game, she'll beat Iga. She'll beat Coco. She'll beat Elena Rybakina. She'll beat Sabalenka as long as she's on her game. Watch out, she's gaining her form. She's gonna find herself now inside the top 150. And what did I say, guys? I said at the end of the season, Osaka's gonna be inside the top 50. So she's on pace. She's that good of a player. Sloane Stephens taking on Yulia Putintseva. Now, Sloane looked really good in this match. She came into this match 9-2 on clay. Sloane is a very clean ball striker, and I think she plays her best tennis on clay recently because she's not relying on her athletic ability like earlier in her career. She's relying on her ability to make shots, her range, and how clean of a ball striker she is. But when you're taking on Yulia Putintseva on clay, you got to watch out for the drop shots and the short ball. She's going to make you work. And she made Sloane work today, and Yulia would come away with the victory in straight sets. And what about Iga? Big bad Iga taking on Bernarda Pera. Now listen, Bernarda is a crafty lefty. She's got a left down the line, but listen, this is the part where I use fair criticism. I think Iga Swiatek's got way too much variety for Bernarda Pera to be any type of threat to Iga. Bernarda wants to find her left down the line, much like Xu Wang, but Iga's going to hit you with the kitchen sink. And it's a very easy game plan to beat Bernarda Pera when you're as skilled as Iga, especially with the footwork to be able to defend. Just attack her forehand side. Yeah, that's right. Attack her forehand side. Put her on the back foot. Make her get aggressive and make mistakes. Give her what she wants on clay. And Iga Swiatek did that all match long. Also going to the backhand side, Iga Swiatek just looked insane today. She dishes out a double bagel and defeats Bernarda Pera. I do want to take a look at the stats here with Iga Swiatek. The first serves won 67%. I do think that's a bit low, but she did make up for it on the second serve, nearly 80%. She won 57% of Bernarda's first serves. Look, this is the first set, and 78% of the second serve. Winners again. Iga's not being too aggressive. She's just playing smart, clean tennis. And look at that, 3 for 5 on break points. Bernarda did have an opportunity, but cannot convert. And look at that defensive pose. Much like Arena Sabalenka's, they have a very comparable defensive pose there. And the match, and what I would probably say one of the best matches of the day. Emma Navarro, guys, she's trying to get into the Olympics. She's got to pass Madison Keys. But listen, guys, Madison Keys literally between here and the French Open only has a couple hundred points to defend. So literally she could lose, and she won today, by the way. We just talked about her match against Osorio. She could lose in the first round of the French Open, and all the pressure is on Emma Navarro. Remember, guys, Olympic points in at the end, the conclusion of the French Open. So Madison Keys could be eliminated the first round of the French Open, and all the pressure would be on Emma Navarro to win and go deep. That's right. She's going to need several hundred points to get the job done. Doesn't look like it as she loses today in what was a very important match, tied up at 1. She took the first set. Badosa bounced back, took the second set. In case you haven't heard, Badosa broke up with Stefanos, and listen, she's playing better already. I told you guys, listen, it was the relationship that affected her game. I don't think it was the back or the injury. I think it was an emotional injury, and she showed today she's back focusing on tennis. That's her second win here in Rome, guys. She advances, and let's take a look at some of the other scores on the day, guys, right? All right, so Rome, WTA 1000. Who else did we have today? Okay, Tatiana Maria. She falls to She falls to Dasha. Now, Dasha is going to have a very, very interesting match coming up next. I'm going to talk about that a little later. Angelique Kerber, she takes out Veronika Kudermetova. Linda Noskova takes out Stefani. Dana Snyder, I told you she'd win a set over Ludmilla. How about beat her outright? Vavara, she takes out Sarah. Now, Elena Venetian was supposed to take on Barbara, but she took on Jacqueline, who was up in here. I told you Jacqueline would win the first set. She did that. Queen Win takes out Shelby Rogers. Sarah Srivas Termo takes out Podoroska. I told you that. Big U takes out Rebecca Masarova. Elizabeth wins the second set. I told you she would and win the match. Shramkova takes out Pedon. Laura Sigmund takes out Carly. Potapova takes out Wong. Sasnovich takes out Ekaterina. That was a shocker. Daria Seville, Dasha, the other Dasha, takes out. She loses to Clara Towson. Clara Towson's going to have a very good matchup tomorrow. Stay tuned. Sarah Irani over Amanda Anisimova. Volley nets over Wong. Osaka over Kashu. Jacqueline over Elena Evanesian. Madison Keys over Asaro. Beatrice Haddad over Wong. I told you that. Coco over Magdalena. That was pretty easy. Serrano over Brenda Favertova. I told you that. Marquetta over Bogdan. And Putintseva over Stevens. Iga Swiatek over Pera. And, of course, Badosa over Emma Navarro, who's going to have a very tough time if she wants to make France. Now, let's take a look at today's matches, guys. We're going to have some very interesting matches here. Let's start with Danielle Collins taking on Anna Blinkova. Now, this is a match here where Danielle looks, she's hot. She's got her form. And Blinkova, I told you, look, she should beat Perry, but then again, she's the type of player that her matches are strange. Let's just leave it at that. But I'm going to take Blinkova to win a set over Collins. Not something that I would recommend doing, but I think she can win a set over Collins. Elisa Mertens over Sinyakova. I think Katerina's going to come out and play well in the first set, so I'll take Katerina to win the first set. Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova taking on Sarah Srivas Termo. I think Termo can win a set. She's playing good tennis. She won the doubles in Madrid with Buxa. Both Spanish ladies put on a show. I'll take Sarah to win a set over Anastasia. Sakri and Vavara, that's going to be a good match. I think the first set goes over 8.5, and I like Sakri to win the match. Towson and Anna Kailinskaya. I'm going to take Towson to come out and win the first set. She plays her best tennis in the first set. Big U and Rebakina. We're going to talk about Coco and Rebakina and Sabalenka and Iga next video. Stay tuned for that. This is going to be a tough match because Big U, I think she's finding her form, and I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for Elena Rybakina. I'm going to take Rybakina to win the match, though. Ons taking on Kenin. That's going to be a good match. I think Ons should come out playing her best tennis in the first set. I'll take Ons to win the first set. And Potapova, Yelena Ostapenko. That's going to be a good match. I'll take Asta to win the first set, but Potapova's going to put up a fight, guys. She is. Azarenka and Lynette. I'm going to take Azarenka to get past Lynette. Serenko and Helena. I'll take the first set over 8.5. And Diana, I'll take her to win a set over Laura Sigmund, who's the favorite in that match. Elizabeth and Carolyn Garcia. I'm going to take the first set over 8.5. I think she can win games, but I like Garcia to win the first set on the money line. Svitolina and Sarah Irani. That's going to be a tough match, guys. What do you think? I think Svitolina is going to win the first set. Katie Bolter over Shramkova. I'll take Bolter as the underdog to win that match. It's going to be tough, though. Bolter's tall. It's long legs. She's going to have to move against a shorter player there. Volley nets and Sabalenka. This is going to be a good match. I do think Sabalenka will get past volley nets. Going to be much like when she plays Clara Buell. Mayer, Sharif, and Polini. I like the first set over 8.5. Those are the picks, guys. That's going to get us through the next couple days. Tennis in a minute. Like the video. Show some love. Hit the super thanks. Stay tuned. Coco, Iga, Sabalenka, Rybakina. We got to talk.